I'm gonna cover it right now. Welcome back, friends, once again to the worldwide broadcast of the Ted and Austin Broer Show, bringing you the latest world news and health research. Hope you guys have had a fantastic week. It's been a busy week. A lot of you guys taking basically advantage of a lot of sales we've had this week, including the Ultimate Multiple capsules.
Well, I had a letter yesterday. They told me that they liked the old format better when you and I were dry and never joked about anything. In other words, that's what they said. I'm paraphrasing.
Today, we are going to talk strictly about health. This is not funny. This is not a joke. Do not laugh. If you laugh at all during this presentation, you will be banned. Never again to see the show. Continue.
You know,
I can't even
the one thing I learned, when I was on secular radio for awful long time, did thousands of talk shows. The top guys would always tell me this: the number one thing you've got to do is you've got to entertain the audience. Exactly. If you don't entertain them and you're boring, they're going to change the channels. I've got a friend of mine right now. He's been on radio for 20 years. He's so boring, it's unbelievable. He reads out of journals all day.
Jim Rohn said something. He said exactly what you talked about. You have to be able to entertain people. You have to be able to bring them the truth, but you have to also be able to help them learn and figure new things out. And he said, Jim Rohn used to say this. He goes, I used to love going to a real, true, authentic, well-made movie. He said, take me through the emotions of the film. Make me angry. Make me sad. Make me laugh. He goes, if you go to a film and it's monotone the entire time, and there's no change at all, any type of behavior, he's like, what is it? That's nothing.
I got bad news though for Jim Rohn. I was so sad yesterday. I mean, I know him well. I spoke with him. He's a friend. Was a friend. He's in heaven now.
Yeah.
They're using AI voice now in their copy.
I heard that.
It's not Jim Rohn talking.
No, it's not. Well, it's a similar tone and dialect, but they've completely changed his tonal inflection, his ways to do stuff. Yeah.
And no, it's the same thing they did with Denzel Washington too.
How did they?
Yeah, they did. Denzel Washington has the stuff that he's supposed to be doing this, but it's not him talking. But the problem with Jim Rohn, I know Jim Rohn. I've listened to thousands of hours.
So you can tell which ones are AI and not.
But it's not his voice. It sounds like him, but it's not him. It's not him. And he's covering content he never covered.
Yeah, I heard that too.
There's some stuff I was like, I listened to it for 5 minutes. I was like, God, is this a Jim? What is this? Oh, I got a correction to make.
Yes.
This is a great listener. His name is George, and he works for the Postal Service. And
no, George, you're one of the good ones.
Oh yeah,
I'm just messing with you.
No, he is.
No, I know.
We were talking about. He says he's a 38-year mail carrier, and he says there's a slew of reasons for the declining revenue. He said that back in the 70s, I was right. It was about an 80% retirement, but they changed all that. He goes, it's not like that anymore. He says about 1% per each year of employment. So after 30 years, he gets like 38% of his gross salary.
They've had to cut back on it. Okay.
He says you may be confusing it with the previous civil service requirement system. Okay, that was in place until '84, and he's right. They received up to 80% because they weren't paid under Social Security and didn't collect Social Security. Okay, they received a higher pension due to not collecting Social Security, but again, this was done away with in '84. Also, you mentioned subsidies help pay our salaries. Fact is, we don't receive tax dollars and subsidies. Now, when I was talking about that, I was talking about the Amazon money they're getting, not money directly. And in addition to that, he said, Austin, you rag on the Postal Service sometimes. And I watched this. Then he says something. I watched this once great organization struggle for years, and like anyone trying to stay alive, they try new methods to try to save the organization. But the writing is on the wall. Without a complete overhaul that would literally take an act of Congress and cooperation from both the unions and the postal management, it will continue to die a slow death. Most of us who work for the Postal Service are decent people who simply want to earn a decent living for a fair day's wages. There are always a few bad apples in every organization. I listen to your show almost every day, thank you, and I enjoy it. I met you in Austin briefly a few years ago at your office in Auburndale. Thanks for sharing so many things on your show that I've never thought about from the perspective that you share. God bless you. Thanks, George. He's up in Inverness, Florida. George, thanks.
Thank you, George.
And I always tell you guys, when we say something on the show that I can't verify or that's not right, one of you guys correct me. Like about nose cones on an airplane being aluminum, and they're not, I correct it.
Well, you got to understand, too, I have worked with the post office on this side of the world, or as far as this side of the aisle, for the last almost 20 years now. And you're right, I have watched the decline. I used to do almost everything priority mail. Priority mail used to be pretty much semi-guaranteed 2 to 3 days.
It was the best.
It was the best. I did 95% of my shipments through post office. I could ship something from here, and it'd be in California in 3 days. pretty much guaranteed on the money with a slim chance that something happened. It's completely changed the opposite of that. And that's why I got so frustrated and why I started doing what I did this week and why I'm doing the whole VIP Express. It's not that I don't want to use post office, because I used to do solely almost all post office. It's that, again, like you said, I have to adapt and change to make things work better. If they can't change the organization and Congress won't make the changes that it needs to revamp it and restructure it, then I've got to go a different angle. And that's what I've done now, because at the end of the day, I can complain all day. If changes aren't made and complaints are only done, nothing happens.
I've got a comment, though. I had an email come in yesterday. Now, mind you, I don't check my emails every day. And you think, well, I can't believe you don't check. Look, I got other things going on in my life.
You guys should be happy he's even on the show with me. He's supposed to be retired playing golf.
I don't like golf.
I know you don't like golf, but you know what I mean? Quite frankly.
Well, no, I love doing the show. You know why I love doing the show? Because I get to talk to guys like you and ladies like you every single day. To me, Sherry, a doctor that I know really well, she asked me about 6 years ago, she said, if you could do anything you want to do right now, what would you do? I said, I'd do exactly what I'm doing. I feel like I'm in God's perfect will for my life. I mean, we're reaching millions of people on the show. And we're helping millions of people. I mean, why would I consider anything else? Do I want to go sit around and chase a golf ball or play pool, which I do? I love playing billiards.
I love billiards, though.
Yeah, I used to be really good at it. But no, the answer is I don't mind playing a game of pool every once in a while, even hitting a golf ball. But that's not the purpose of my life. I want to be out there helping people and making a difference with what I do here. And so Austin's right. I could have retired a long time ago. I haven't done it. Because years ago, he asked me, he said, Dad, will you help me, restructure and rebuild Health Masters? This is after I'd gone into retirement mode. I said, sure, I'll be happy to do it. It's going to take a minute. And I always hear these people say, you guys are, overnight success. We've been on podcasts for 12 years. We've done almost 3,000 episodes. How's that possibly overnight?
It's been a lot of work.
It's been a lot of time.
When I started Health Masters back, it was me. If you guys remember those days, I answered the phones. I packed the boxes. I ordered the inventory. I handled everything. Me. I was in the office by myself for a while.
And Sharon and I, we were vacationing. I was
literally never saw you anymore.
We were always gone. We have a motorhome. We were always driving around doing stuff.
So that's why we decided to ramp it back up, and we did, and now here we are. And so, again, thank you for making it possible for us to be able to bring it back and continue to grow where we've been now, where I can bring you guys all types of different supplements. We didn't have purple sticks back then. They didn't exist. We didn't have this different types of collagen.
I got an email on that. You want to read it?
I know. So I'm reading it right now. I'm talking about
I want you to read
the advanced collagen formula. This is interesting. I'll pull it up. Everybody can read it themselves. I'll put up what I'm talking about it. So I don't use much AI, really ever. Well, we had a customer that put the Grok. I guess Grok's the main AI a lot of people use. He compared it to the
Rich, don't use camera 4.
Yeah, because it's too much.
I don't want to dox him.
Yeah. So what's going to happen is there's a brand on here. I'm not really giving the truth. It's Nature's Truth. That's the name of it. And so they went right here. Where's it at? I want to share a recent chat I had with you, Grok.
Now Grok's an AI algorithm.
Right. So they compared the Nature's Truth collagen with our collagen on there.
Now, we're just reading you this. We're not trying to slam Nature's Own.
No, I don't even know this brand, whatever on it. It says, no, Nature's Truth is not clearly better than Health Masters Collagen Advanced Formula. Health Masters is likely a superior product for most people seeking targeted, evidence-backed benefits despite the discount. So apparently he's able to buy this other one at discount at a Publix out there in California Bay Area. What are you looking for?
GHI cleanse.
You used it all. No. He used it all. It's all gone. This is your can.
You got any in it?
Empty. Well, that worked well. It's Friday. Give me some slack. It's been a long week. So it goes into detail here, talking about side-by-side breakdown on the ingredients on it. Give me camera 4. Or give me center camera, Rich. And so it says, which one's better? Health Masters wins here. Fortigel, Fortibone, Versatile have multiple human clinical trials showing benefits for joints, bones, skin, hair, nails. It says Nature's Truth is standard multi-collagen blend, decent for general collagen intake, but lacks the same levels of targeted, patented, research-backed peptides. Generic collagen works okay for some, but a specific bioactive version of Health Masters is reliably effective. And this is what I've told you guys on this brand that we have here. You go to camera again. Is that we go in and we try to find specific raw ingredients. And it even talks about right here is that all the backing with the ones that we have are all 100% grass-fed, not grass-finished, 100% grass-fed bovine where we get all the collagen from in here. You've got to watch out for a lot of these companies that are talking about collagen peptides, this and that, because a lot of them, they're getting very, very cheap collagen, pretty much from the butchered, high-processed cattle.
GMO corn.
They're fed all GMO corn. That's another one people don't talk about in here. And so he even brought that up in here. Where did it say it here? It says 3 patented, clinically studied bioactive collagen peptides, Fortigel, Fortibone, Versatile, sourced from 100% grass-fed, pasture-raised bovine, not a broad multi-type mix, ultra-pure hydrolyzed for high bioavailability, non-GMO, no gluten, soy, dairy-free, third-party tested, GMP, neutral taste, made in the United States. Are you up on a purple can on me?
We're out of purpose.
Get that can's bothering me. Knock it off. It's supposed to fall off. Anyways, I digress since we're on one of these shows today. But that, again, that's AI. I guess it's being pretty accurate. That's why they are. I know all this stuff already, but it's funny when you put it in AI and it actually tells the truth. I guess AI has some factors to it, I guess.
Let me get a knife to open this.
What are you doing?
I need purpose today.
Anyways, he needs a purple stick, guys. I read another article up here. Oh, this is interesting. This ties into what I've been talking about the last couple of weeks, which is pretty frustrating, to be honest with you. There's an article that came up here, and it's talking about Monsanto. Monsanto won legal protection against further lawsuits over its weed killer and allegations that it causes cancer. This is nuts. Yeah, I'm going here to the article. Said the Supreme Court in Monsanto versus Durnall issued a decision this week that's expected to help the agribusiness avoid liability in the future complaints about its signature weed killer Roundup. Roundup, glyphosate. Glyphosate completely stops the uptake of glycine in the body. They're trying to claim that it doesn't. It does. I've done the research on it. Everybody looks at how it functions, and it also
it massively interferes with the uptake of glycine.
And it massively interferes with all nutrient absorption. That's how it kills weeds. It stops their uptake of nutrients and they die.
The reason they found this thing now, they're stopping these lawsuits. And the reason they've done that, number one, they got really good attorneys. Number two, they're saying that they didn't have to. The government had ruled that they did not have to post the fact that it caused cancer. It wasn't necessary
because it's an herbicide,
and that's why they were being sued to start with. They didn't tell it's caused.
The Missouri man named James Durrell sued, alleging the company failed to warn about purported cancer risks from exposure to glyphosate.
So they're not saying it doesn't cause cancer.
No. They're saying basically they don't have to list and tell you that it causes cancer. He won a $1.25 million verdict in state court, but the Supreme Court rejected the decision on June 25th.
Yep.
This happened yesterday, guys. In a 7-2 decision, the justice said the verdict rested on a faulty interpretation of state law and federal law.
Yep.
So we're not saying it doesn't cause cancer. We're not saying that you didn't get cancer from glyphosate. We're not saying that it doesn't cause significant health problems when ingested. We're just saying this is on a faulty law. So it's void now. You're not getting paid.
What'll happen, it'll be refiled, and they'll go through another 10 or 12 years.
They invoked a doctrine known as preemption, which holds that federal law prevails over state law when the two conflict. This is one of the biggest things that I have a problem with in a constitutional republic. This was never ever the case from the beginning basis of a constitutional republic here in the United States by the Founding Fathers. This primarily was done before the Civil War and rolled into a hard layout afterwards where federal law completely overtook state law at all times, no matter what. This is egregious on all ends, in my opinion. A constitutional republic was a loosely grouped states together that when they needed to, they would come together as a whole to become a stronger nation in the event of war. State laws always superseded any other laws, period. The reason why you have individual states, here's the concept with this. If federal law always supersedes state law, then states are completely irrelevant. You have one gigantic, homogenous country that has no states.
This is what Lincoln did.
Right.
And Johnson.
The state law, if any point in time the federal government can come and say federal law supersedes state law, then states' laws are meaningless in most cases. I digress. It says, writing for the majority, Kavanaugh said Janelle's case rested on the idea that states can go beyond, could go beyond warning requirements already imposed by federal government. He pointed to how the EPA has repeatedly declined. The EPA has repeatedly declined to require additional warning for glyphosate. The agency that tells you you've got to put a 3-foot-long giant filter on your diesel truck and run urea through it because it's better for the environment, while taking your truck from 30 miles a gallon to 12 miles a gallon, cooking the turbos and causing zero longevity of the vehicle. That same EPA said, we're not requiring glyphosate to be put on the label. Oh, that's right. And fluoride's good for you. Mm-hmm. Oh, but you've got a pond in your backyard that you don't have permits collecting rainwater. We're going to fine you $5,000 a day every day that you don't allow the water to escape out of its natural habitat, which they've done, by the way. It says Jackson denied there was a conflict between the state law and relevant federal law. The Federal Insecticide, Fungicide, and Rodenticide Act empowered the EPA to regulate the chemical, but the EPA says we don't have to do anything about it because it's safe and effective. This federal-state compromise is a very easy fix. State supersedes federal law. Basically, federal government go kick rocks. Piss off.
That's why I like Ron DeSantis so much with his response with COVID and lockdowns.
The reason why they're ruling on this is because it gives the EPA the teeth to enforce the unbelievably unconstitutional requirements that it does and force people to do stuff like the Clean Air Act, which sounded great on paper, except it forced manufacturers to continually make their vehicles more expensive, more unreliable, more inefficient, all in the guise of it's got better fuel mileage or it's a cleaner producing diesel truck. I've been in that industry for 2 decades, and it is an abomination what the EPA has done. You want to know why Super Duty trucks now are $100,000? A lot of this is because of the EPA. The level of emissions they've added on this stuff is obscene.
And it's also because who owns them? BlackRock, State Street,
Exactly
and Vanguard.
right. You want to know? I know fuel prices are up so high because the semi truck's got to pump urea in all of them all the time. It's insane what the EPA done. And again, I'm not going to keep going on this because this industry just absolutely makes me nauseous.
By the way, Bear stock soared after the ruling.
Oh, I bet it did. Oh, it probably went through the roof. Oh, and I'm sure you had a bunch of all the boys that love free air. They probably already knew this was going to happen in advance.
Well, I'm sure
that's why it went so high. They longed it. Yeah.
Well, by the way, record 25 million adults under the age of 35 are now living with their parents.
Under 35?
Now, we're not talking about, under 20.
Yeah, even under 25 sometimes. You get out of college, you move back in with your parents maybe for a year or two till you get your
25 million. I mean, that's
35.
I said it to a friend of mine. He's got like a 28-year-old living with him. He hadn't left his bedroom in 4 years. I said, what do you mean he hadn't left his bedroom in 4 years? Well, it's an interesting story. I'm not going to give you any names, but he was at a local university here, Christian university, and he had 1 year to finish, and his dad decided to transfer him to a secular school down in Miami. And he got down there and got on drugs, be blunt. And he flunked out, college dropout, with 1 year left, and then he turned right around and hasn't left his bedroom for 4 years. And you think, well, that's awful. He didn't have a job, doesn't have anything. Who's enabling him to do that?
There you go.
Is that the question? I'd be telling him, hey, it's time for you to move, bud. You got to go. You got to go get a job. You got to get out in the real world. You got to get some help. If you got some psychological issues, you got to try to work through this. You can't stay in your room for 4 years. And I told him, I talked to the kid. Well, he's not a kid, he's a man. And I said, dude, what's wrong with you? I said, choke it out, man. So what? This happened. So just deal with it. You got to go past that. I'm going to stop for a second. This is important. When someone says, I'm sorry,
What?
we're going to do a wrong thing again.
YouTube chat, by the way. I see you guys. I just logged in. We'll get to you guys in a minute.
Love you guys. Okay, here's the thing. Let's say I'm flipping a knife. I don't have one with me. No, here's one. I got a knife. Plastic knife. Not going to do anything. Let's say I flip it up and down, but this is a real knife. And you're sitting across the counter from me. And I throw it up one time, and it falls and it hits you in the leg, and it sticks you in the leg. And it was a total accident. Now, I was being careless, but it was a total accident. And I say to you, please forgive me. That was an accident. You may look at me and go, I forgive you, but I'm not going to get around you if you're flipping knives again. I'm going to run out into the other room. Fair enough. I earned that. But here's the problem what you have, and it happens all the time with kids and with other people and friends of yours that you know that try to use you all the time. They don't really stick you with a knife, but they metaphorically do you wrong all the time. So if you have this knife here, and it's a big butcher knife, and I walk up to you and I say, oh, watch this, and I stab you in the leg with it, and you go, oops, I'm sorry. You're like, what are you, psycho? You did that on purpose. Well, I'm sorry. No, that's not okay. And I'll be done. I say, I got to go to a doctor. I got to get stitched up now. The problem is when people stab you with a knife metaphorically over and over and over and over again, they ain't your friends. I'm letting you know that up front right now. And if they constantly say, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, does that even mean anything? No. So be really careful on who you associate with. If they're making the same mistakes and doing the same things to you over and over and over again, and every time you need them, they're never there for you, ever, not once. But every time they want you, you're always trying to help them. That's a lopsided relationship, my friends, and it's something that you just need to step away from. If you're in a relationship, in a dating situation, and you've got a male or a female that you're dating, and they're always doing wrong things to you over and over and over again, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. You know I'm right. It doesn't mean anything.
So eventually it just becomes gaslighting. I'm sorry if my transgressions did ever so offend you for my behavior that I repeatedly do. I'm so sorry.
And then they do it again 3 seconds later.
Bruh, stop apologizing. Just stop the behavioral pattern.
Well, it reminds me of that silly thing we showed last Friday with in the train in that
Felicia,
tunnel. Yeah,
it was an earthquake.
Yeah, just make 1,000 excuses, but you don't mean any of them. And so if you're in a relationship like that and you're not married yet, it's best to get the dust off your feet, get out of that mess before you get married to it, because it ain't going to change. Same thing over and over and over and over, and you're kind of like, why am I always doing the dishes and you don't help? What do you mean? I don't really need to clean up after you. It's enough cleaning up after me. Can you at least help keep the house clean? No! And you say, well, that's not going to work. Okay, I'll help. And they help keep the house clean for like 30 seconds. Back to the same thing again. You got to go, okay, this isn't okay. This is not right, okay? This is not going to work. But it's the same thing over and over and over again. It's not an apology anymore. What it is a lack of respect. Now, I'm going to say that very clearly. It's a lack of respect. Remember, it's respect and love and reciprocity that builds a marriage or builds a relationship. If you don't respect somebody, you'll do that kind of junk to them over and over again. But once you break that respect, you break the trust, right? Well, you're not lying to me yet, are you? Well, there's no trust. Now there's no respect. Now there's no trust. And now all of a sudden, well, if you ain't going to do it, I ain't going to do it. Now there's no reciprocity. And suddenly there's nothing but just a mess. And you kind of sit back and go, well, I'm not sure what to do here. This is a nightmare. Well, yeah, you got to know what to do. You got to step away. And then that's the problem with cultural Marxism, what it's done for different roles that we've had as adults and as women and as men and as children. It's just changed everything. And it's made everything into the me generation. They're saying now also, we mentioned this the other day, how iPhones have basically stopped people from having children.
I saw an article again.
I saw it again. And
everybody's they got the phone shoved at their face so far, they can't figure out what's going on. Nobody's conversations anymore. That's the biggest pet peeve.
And someone says, oh, I'm sorry, I was on the phone. 3 minutes later, back on the phone again.
Yeah.
And you're like,
here's the thing. If I'm dealing in a business meeting, I'm with somebody, we're both in the middle of something, I got to answer phone calls or emails or texts, which I love to do for you guys all the time. That's a completely different topic. If I'm out hanging out with somebody and they're sitting there playing on social media, I'm going to get up and walk off and be like, dude, what are you doing? But all my friends respect me enough they know not to do that to me because we all respect each other. Again, it's mutual respect.
Yeah.
If you're sitting with somebody and actually having a conversation and you're not trying to answer some type of business call and you're sitting there just screwing off on your phone, oh, Snapchat, oh, a goyslop ad, Oh, that's anti-Semitic now, by the way. That term has been deemed anti-Semitic.
But it's their word.
Oh, it's their word. But they said if you say it, you're referencing them in a negative light because you're saying that they feed us bad food, and it's not. All the food they feed us is safe and healthy. I kid you not. I'll pull the article up in a second now. They're trying to censor on social media.
Oh, by the way, I had a friend of mine years ago comes over, and every time he came over, he was on the phone, right? And he's a nice guy, single guy. And finally, he came over on the phone all the time. And finally, I said to him, I said, dude, what are you doing? And he says, oh, I'm on the phone. I said, well, you're here. I haven't seen you in 3 months, and we're sitting out here on the back porch chilling out. And I said, and I'm not even talking to you. I'm just staring at the wall. Well, yeah, I'm on the phone. I said, I tell you what, I'm going to go to sleep. You have fun out here by yourself. And I said to him, the next time you come to my house, if you bring this up and you bring your phone out here like this again, I said, I won't talk to you again.
I'm going to go to bed. Somebody said here, Friday's show's going to be a long weekend, so I can replace some of the shows. It seems I missed some parts, but you're also working while show is running in the background. Love it. Good morning. Good morning, Lily. Good morning, Rita Stewart. Said, I love the show now. Enjoy the humor. Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you.
Yes, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Said, tell me not to joke on the show. Here's the thing, guys. The joking sometimes isn't just for you guys. it's to also lighten the mood over here. I can only do this so much. Sometimes me and him do multiple podcasts a day with different people. And I'll tell you what, I can only cover so much nonsense. Eventually it's like, dude, I just got to joke about it. Plus I have very dark humor. If you guys ever hung out with me, I'll make jokes about just about anything. I don't care. I'm an equal opportunity offender just for the fact that, you know what, it lightens the mood.
The Bible says a merry heart doeth good like a medicine.
You got to make some dark jokes. That is what it is. Another customer here said, I wonder who owns the PO service, post office service, the top people in the government, not the lower part. He said it's traced to England somewhere. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know about that, but I wouldn't be surprised. Says, we're glad Ted's on the show.
Thank you. I was told the other day, you and Austin interrupt each other too much.
You should hang out with some person.
It's part of the humor of the show. We do it on purpose because we're trying to make it lively.
You gotta. Here's the problem too, and I'm not saying you guys or Health Masters family. The vast majority of platforms, nobody has an attention span. If I sit the camera on me for 30 minutes, which I do on solos, you guys know that, but I still try to run camera 4. Everybody's like, okay, well, we banter back and forth, and you guys understand there is no script here. There's no teleprompter. I don't even know what articles he's going to cover. We don't talk before the show. We literally are that dialed in. I have articles he has articles we have, and we just flow back and forth. There is no prep with me and him. We're in completely different locations, and then we come together and go to the studio. And we don't realize that.
No, then I get emails. Listen, you'll like this one. Ted, you need to shut up and let Austin talk.
I've got the same ones though too.
I know. Yes. And then I get another email. Austin needs to shut up and let you talk. And I'm like, it's a banter back and forth. We do it on purpose like this because it helps the algorithms to make more listeners to try to help more people.
That's exactly right.
And so you think, but it's so funny. I mean, because I know, okay, look, I know you're 30 years old or 25 years old and you relate more to Austin. I got it.
Hey guys.
But there's also guys that are 50 years old plus and they relate more to me. Yeah. Why do you think we do the show together? So we're trying to keep it lively for each of us. And then I got everybody goes, well, I don't know why you've got so much energy, Ted. You know, I'm younger than you. You look better than me, and you got all this energy. And I'm
like, that a problem?
Is that a problem?
Yeah.
Isn't that something for you to strive for if you want to have more energy and feel better with your life and use me as an example of what you can do and can't do? So, well, you use those purple sticks all the time. Yeah, I do, but I usually don't use them after 10 o'clock in the morning or 11 o'clock.
Yeah, I can't say that.
Because, well, I just don't. Well, you had to do the Hagman thing.
Well, I run.
Now, when I used to do Jeff Rents, I used to take one, about 2 hours for Jeff Rents, but I couldn't take one during Jeff Rents. One time I fell asleep on Jeff Rents' show, but it was awful. Ted, are you there? Oh, I'm sorry, man.
You can't fall asleep.
Well, no, it was like a 12 to 1 in the morning.
Oh, I remember when you were doing
that.
Yeah.
I told him, I said, Jeff, I can't do this.
Tom Jones said, Austin, do you think only armed revolution will end the satanic government overreach? I'm not going to answer that on YouTube, but I'm pretty confident you already know my response on it. We're going to leave that one as it lays.
Something about the tree of liberty has to be refreshed by the that's
blood
what,
of patient.
Yeah.
By the way, I tried. Hold on a second. I got one more. I got another one on here. Research suggests that exposure to glyphosate disrupts microbial communities, condition known as dysbiosis. That is a fact. Research significantly suggests that.
Oh, by the way, airplane.
By the way, I'm trying to talk to our listeners.
This is what they complained about when we did this.
See?
Oh,
what do you guys want? Okay, do you want to hear about an airplane? I got a live group chat. Do you want to hear about an airplane, or do you want me to read the questions here that I told you I would on the show? I'll put them on the screen if you'd like, and you can watch him talk. You guys want his Friday show on here? Like that? There you go. This got about a 30-second delay on it.
So funny.
Gosh. Well, I had to
finish your story about glyphosate. This is good.
I lost my train of thought. I was so
interrupted. Disrupting microbiome.
Oh, yes, gut microbe. Remember, gut microbe directly ties into brain function. It's called the gut-brain axis. When you disrupt gut microbe and you have what's by dysbiosis, the brain and the body can't get synced. So what it means is it's like a first gear going into second gear. You need the clutch to sync them, correct? It makes it real simple. When you lose that gut microbe, you can't sync into the next gear properly, meaning the body can't get in homeostasis. So it's trying to change certain things and trying to change other things, and it's not in the same level with the gut and the brain, meaning serotonin production, meaning dopamine production. It all slows down and is basically massively just discombobulated, so to speak. So stay away from the glyphosate. Also, another one here, I had Sparky. I talked to him. New Mexico, my New Mexico brother said, Austin, the VIP shipping's awesome. I ordered Wednesday and got it Thursday. I'm in New Mexico. Great talk with you Wednesday. Great talking to you too, brother.
I do have an analogy of what you just said, the metaphor, that story.
Clutch is cooked. Glyphosate kills the clutch.
No, I'm talking about when you were 10 years old and you had that Honda.
Oh yeah.
Remember that?
I used to ride dirt bikes.
I remember you basically got.
I had a PW. I'll let him finish the rest of the story. I had a PW80 2-stroke. There was no clutch on it. Right? It was gas only. It was one of the small dirt bikes, little kids. I upgraded to a XR100, full 5-speed clutch, everything. Learned how to clutch it. That was fun. Now I tell a story.
Well, we're out in the sand pit.
I'm learning how to ride it.
And I'm riding a dirt bike too. What was I riding?
You had an XR400.
Did I really? I don't remember that bike.
I do.
It's funny. But anyhow, it was a powerful motorcycle the one I had. I don't even know if I owned it or if I borrowed it.
I think it was Chris's.
I
It was one of Tony's.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we're out there riding the bike, and all of a sudden he gets in some deep sand, and he's trying to go in 5th gear.
Yeah, I was like 4th or 5th gear. I was
I yelled. I said, Austin, you got to downshift. He really didn't understand that yet because he had that PW80. And so I said it to him like 4 or 5 times. He got hurt. He mentally like, what are you yelling at me for? I said, I'm not yelling. We have motorcycles and they're loud.
And we both had helmets on.
We both had helmets on. And he said that to me the other day about, I remember when you did that. But he said, but you were right. I had to downshift. Well, that's the same problem when you have mitochondrial dysfunction and microbiome dysfunction. It can't downshift. It doesn't know what to do.
It's trying to go. It's bogged down.
And so that was the metaphor on that. And so that's why you've got to have the right types of nutrients in your body, and you can't be putting disrupting agents in your body. And that's why I love that growth thing on our peptides.
Yeah.
And, I would say to you, if you want your hair to fall out, if you want your skin to sag, don't use this product.
Exactly right.
And you're like, what do you mean by that? Well, I just read you what growth said. Hair, skin, nails, and it tightens everything up. And it's been clinically proven to do that with the ingredients that we have in there. That's why it's more expensive than what you're going to buy at some discount store.
That's exactly right.
I'm going to give you 8 of these for $1.99, and I'll give you 20 more as a bonus. Where do you think that stuff came from? You really think that they're even going to sell you anything that's going to work and not poison you? I mean, think through this before you put this stuff into your body. By the way.
Right. Okay, back to your airplane story.
No, wow, this is crazy. Emergency landing. Horror aboard Air Canada flight after plane jerked and swerved after pilot had a seizure in the cockpit.
Ooh, that's a bad place to have one.
He didn't die, but man, he almost lost the aircraft. If the Air Canada carrying flight 61 passengers suddenly began to jolting and swerving after the pilot covered an incapacitating seizure.
Would the right seat take over?
Yeah. Well, what happened? The right seat had to get the pilot out because the pilot kept slamming the controls.
Oh gosh!
Seizure. Okay. The co-pilot was forced to take the control, but they had to get the pilot out. He says, I knew something was wrong when the pilot said. It said, it really felt like somebody jolted the controls and happened over and over again. It was a Havilland Dash 8-400, nice plane, by the way, twin turboprop. About an hour, that's a turboprop. It's an engine that's a jet engine turning a propeller. Really good airplane, very, very reliable. About an hour into flight, at Stanfield International Airport at around 1:37 p.m., Massachusetts State Police received a call. The airport officials had been alerted to a severe medical episode suffered by a pilot midair. Now, the pilot got out okay. Nobody was hurt. But here's the thing I'm going to say to you. One of the things that causes seizures is aspartame or diet sodas. They think, well, I can't believe you're trying to link this. I'm not saying this is what happened. I'm telling you it does cause seizures. And pilots have been warned, and I've spoken to them about using diet sodas at altitude and when they're flying airplanes. Because in one study that was done, 100% of the primates, the monkeys that were given diet sodas, developed grand mal epileptic seizures. I had a friend of mine. He owns a big company here called Danielle Fence. His name's Mark. You guys know him. He told me I could use this example on the air. He said, if you want to call him up and harass him, you can.
Great company, by the way, as far as fencing.
Make fantastic fencing. The absolute best fencing you can buy, period.
We used to joke every time there's a hurricane in Florida, and there's always subdivisions, and their fences are always, the PVC fence is always blown everywhere. And every time you go by and you see one's up, before you pull up to, you say, well, that's got to be Danielle fencing. Sure enough, that Danielle stamped on. It's the only fencing left that's standing during the hurricane. I'll give them credit for that.
Well, no, we've had 3 or 4 storms. I put up this 8-foot fence years ago.
Yeah.
I've never lost a panel.
No.
In multiple storms. 8 foot. That's a big sail. I mean, it doesn't even bow over. I have wrought iron fencing in the front yard. Not wrought aluminum. It's bowed over from the last storm. I mean, the air blew through it. It's still bowed over. It's ridiculous, okay? But his stuff is still up.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never lost a panel. Great guy. Love the guy. Danielle Fencing.
It's expensive.
No, it's expensive.
But it's kind of like this. It's kind of like you want the product to work all the time. You don't have to question it.
Well,
that's how it's with the supplements.
It's like if he puts a gate in for you with his fencing, it doesn't sag.
Ever.
Or do you want to go ahead and save some money and have a gate that you have to constantly try to adjust and that sags constantly? Anyhow, back to the story. So he's standing right over there, matter of fact. We were in the studio here. It wasn't the studio then. He's in the kitchen, and he was as pale as a sheet. I mean, he looked like a doggone ghost. And I said to him, I said, dude, are you okay? I said, you don't look real good. He goes, well, I just had brain surgery. I said, brain surgery? I said, it's awful. And he goes, well, yeah. He said they did an MRI in my brain, and they had holes in my frontal lobe, and there's blood vessels dangling in there, and they had to go in there and tie them off so they wouldn't have a rupture, have an aneurysm. He said, I finally recovered. He said, well, why did you have to have all that? He said, I was having seizures. And I said, okay. And I said, were you drinking diet sodas? He goes, how do you know that? And I said, well, because seizures are caused. A lot of times diet sodas cause seizures. He goes, let me tell you what happened. I went to my neurologist's office, and I'd started drinking diet sodas, and I was having multiple grand mal epileptic seizures every day. And he goes, I went into the neurologist's office. They tried to induce a seizure to see what was triggering it. Finally, the neurologist walks in. Now, listen to me. The neurologist walks in and here, drink this. It's a diet soda. It causes seizures in many of my patients. Now, think about that for a second. This is commonly known stuff. And so he drinks this cola, boom, massive grand mal seizure right there. And then did the MRI on him. So he wouldn't touch diet sodas. And I gave him the article that I wrote, Aspartame, A Chronicle of Crime. I hope it's posted on the new website.
Do I need to grab a bladed weapon?
What
are we doing over here? I'm sitting over there like, what are you
playing with my plastic fork?
We got a plastic knife. I'm about to go grab the K-bar.
Just throw it away that way. Just throw it away. I'm done with it. And
I see it. You guys can't see it on your end over here. He's over here
throwing the knife.
Pulled the blade up, and I'm like,
it's plastic.
I know. I'm messing with you.
But you're the one who slams the table all the time. But so
I have a knife in my hand when I do it.
Plastic. But anyhow, so he told me I could use his name and talk about it. Normally I wouldn't do that. But the reality is that if you've got pilots drinking diet sodas, how do you know they're not going to have a seizure behind the controls? Boom, seizure behind the controls.
You go.
You think horror aboard Air Canada flight. And you think to yourself, well, he was okay. He wasn't dead. He didn't have a heart attack. He had a seizure. So ask yourself a question. If you know it does that, why are you drinking it? Aspartame contains 3 ingredients. Phenylalanine, which in high concentration causes permanent nerve and brain damage. Aspartic acid, which eats holes in the brain, which is probably what happened to Mark. And number 3, it contains methanol.
Why? But the thing is,
or paint thinner.
Why in the world are you drinking processed sodas anyways if you're trying to work on your health? That's the biggest thing a lot of people don't realize. It's got phosphoric acid.
Because they're trying to... Here's the lie. It's the same lie that you get with wine. Now listen to me. I'm going to go ahead and drink diet sodas because they don't have any calories.
But my point, why are you drinking soda in general?
Well, no, but listen, they're healthier because I don't have the calories.
They're sugar.
So I'm choosing the healthier version of it. No, you're not. You're choosing the toxic version.
Let me clarify this. There is no healthy soda. If you're trying to go the least toxic, you could go with like an organic root beer that's sweetened with stevia. I think Virgil's makes that. It's still soda. It's just way better for you that doesn't have sucralose in it or aspartame. But phosphoric acid is phosphoric acid.
Well, but the crazy part about it is it's like anything else. If you have aspartame in anything or even sucralose, because it's a chlorocarbon, guys, it's a pesticide, all right? It's like chlorodyne powder, and not like it, but it's similar to it. And it's crazy about this stuff that people put this in their bodies thinking they're taking the healthier alternative. It's not healthy. True. And so that's the thing is you're flying an airplane. You want to stay hydrated at altitude. You start sucking down diet sodas.
Which is a diuretic.
Might as well bring me some bottled water. Or better yet, bring you a thermos that doesn't have a bunch of plastic in it. I don't like plastic waters. Guy was asking me the other day, I can't find glass in my store, glass bottled water. My response, okay, get a distiller. That's it. I mean, we have distillers on the website. They work great. I have one in my garage. It's great. Now, remember, distilled water has no electrolytes in it.
Yes, exactly.
So you got to use some salt, okay? When you have your food. Secondly, you got to remember, you can always put our trace mineral supplement into it.
Exactly.
You can do that. But remember, if I take this and I mix it in distilled water, it started as distilled water. It's no longer distilled. I always remember that. If I take any of this stuff and I put it in distilled water, it's no longer a pure water.
But if you drink in large amounts, though, you need to be using the Florida.
If you're really hot and it's really, really sweaty and you're drinking straight distilled water, you might want to sprinkle a little bit of salt in it or put some trace minerals in it from the aqua trace because it's going to start stripping minerals out of the body. Now, you have to drink a lot of it to do that, but it doesn't do that when you add stuff to it. Like I add brain food. It's no longer distilled water. If I add vitamin C, it's no longer distilled water.
Well, the one thing I do all the time, like a lot of times I don't have, this is normally distilled water. I run out of distiller. But then what I'll do is I'll throw AquaTrace in it in my house right before the morning. And then I'll throw usually a half a scoop of vitamin C powder and then a half a scoop of magnesium. Magnesium is used by the body as fuel. It's in 300 different biochemical reactions in the body. We talk about this all the time. Vitamin C helps out with almost everything now. I did a whole show on that at the beginning of the week. You can watch that. So I'm not going to cook the clock talking about vitamin C again. If you want more answers on vitamin C, check out the site at healthmasters.com on the articles. Give me camera. I got to do camera 4. Messed up on that. All right. On here, you go to the articles that we have, and you can read all the different stuff we put up every single day. Vitamin C with antioxidants, more basic than just the basics of vitamin C here. There's articles we have on B vitamins, magnesium brain food, how it helps out with cognitive performance and sleep and actually motor coordination and hand-eye coordination. There's all types of articles you put on the show on the website at Health Masters, so be sure to check those out. Also, too, you can click the top right. It's a direct link to our podcast. And I know all of our regular listeners, you guys already know what I'm talking about on here, but I want to show you guys this for new listeners and how easy it is to navigate all the latest episodes every single day. And we've been updating the photos now to show more relevant topics about what we cover on the show.
You got me looking mean on that thing, man.
You think Michael Bear for that one? He said you look good. I thought you looked good.
I kind of like the photo.
I mean,
I was about 5 pounds lighter. But you know what it's done? It's given me an incentive to drop this last 5 pounds. I've dropped another 2 since I started looking at this photo. Yeah, jawline's tighter.
Yeah. Anyways, but that's what we have on the show. A lot of stuff on here you can watch. Download MP3s. Contact us. Get updates. This is the big one, guys. You know, we sent out the email on the big special during this week. If you want to get updates on stuff like that, if you want to get different specials that are going on, you've got to make sure you sign up for the email because that's the easiest way. I'm not going to send your email to anybody else. You have my word on that. He knows I'm funny about that. I hate getting spam.
We don't do that.
I hate it. It's annoying. It makes me so mad. I give somebody my email. Suddenly, 10 days later, I've got 50 other companies in the same general area sending me all these emails trying to sell me stuff.
And we don't keep your personal information with your credit card information in the office at all.
The Shopify information is locked in with their credit card terminal that they have. I don't keep your credit card information. It's locked in with them.
And the reason I say that is because if we got hacked at Health Masters, that information is not going to be
it's not available.
We don't have it here.
No, same thing. And the email list that we have is on a private closed server, not an AWS Amazon server. It's on a private server. That's what we handle with our marketing director. He handles all that. So don't worry about you giving me your email and I'm going to sell it to everybody. It's your privacy is worth way more to me than selling it to a bunch of stinking little hat data collectors that want to sell you crap you don't need. Did I just say that?
Wow, that was pretty intense, man.
That was.
God, you see your eyes? Your eyes started.
Got mad, man.
Your eyes started poking out, man. I was kind of frightened. I'm glad you put that knife down. It was scary.
I am so over everybody trying to scavenge everybody's data like stinking vultures, man. I'm over it.
Oh, I've got a funny story now.
Cover that, and then I got to store a Bentonite clip.
I need the veins to go down in your neck, please. Because you got to just.
It's Friday, man. It's been a high cortisol week.
Frightening. It's terrible. Run out the door. Even QAnon hates Trump now.
Even QAnon?
QAnon was a big psyop by the CIA, by the way. We're done with being treated like, well, they use the word, well, I won't use that word. They use the other word for feces. We're done being treated like feces. I'm like, okay. Well, you've been treated like feces for a long time because you believe this nonsense to start with. We got the white hats coming in. No, we don't. The Trump
helmets.
Whatever. The Trump administration launched a bizarre QAnon-themed social media campaign this week using QAnon slogans like "Trust the plan" and even a fake Q post to promote Trump's executive orders on quantum computing. Wait, he's signed more executive orders about that, by the way. We are. When we go one, we go quantum. One department. I can't read Trump's stuff. He just
it's hard. Yeah,
he can't.
I don't think anybody proofreads the stuff that he puts out.
Why would the administration play footsie with QAnon? Perhaps they're just stirring the pot. Maybe they feel like the QAnon brand is a little less toxic since it's been a while since Q believers murdered their family members, kidnapped a child, or stormed Congress. Maybe they're just true believers. After all, Trump has frequently posted QAnon memes in the past, albeit not this explicitly. The most likely reason is that it's a troll job. There you go. But that's not exactly why. The post went over so poorly with QAnon believers. In addition, it almost goes without saying no to normies. The movement once convinced that Trump was a messianic figure, which they were, who would literally bring about heaven on earth, apparently has gotten sick of him. There you go. Yeah. Well, it's the narrative. It's the 21-ring circus, isn't it? You got to have the ups and the downs, the ups and the downs, and the ups and the downs. That way, when they hack into the election this fall and we lose a bunch of members of Congress in the Republican Party, it's because of what Trump did. You got to have a bad guy. Remember, you got to have a boogeyman. You got to have a figure that's going to be the bad guy in a drama. You have to have. You always have to have.
Right.
It, right?
You got to have a villain.
Yeah, you have to have a villain. We're done with being treated like this. There are several reasons why QAnon believers are turning on Trump, but the main thrust boils down to this: after trying to block the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files, and failing to deliver deep state arrests. Some of the movement's dissatisfied stars think it's a big gouge, if not insulting, that the president and his team are appropriating QAnon culture. No one has been more vocal about this than former Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, who used to be a big QAnon fan, but now she's not anymore. After falling out with Trump in part because of his attempts to stop the release of the Epstein files, a key part of the QAnon mythos, Greene taunted the president in a video this week. Boy, she did. Well, now they're going to throw out the Q slop and propaganda to get you guys sucked back in, she said. I'm going to read that real slow. This is what Greene said this week. Well, now they're trying to throw out the Q slop and propaganda to get you guys sucked back in, Greene said. 100% right, because he's playing 5,000 dimensional chess. Just remember? He knows exactly what he's doing. He put Gottlieb in the FDA. It doesn't matter. He knows what he's doing. He started Operation Warp Speed. Oh, it doesn't matter. He started signing bills to put trillions of dollars into the M1 money supply to massively inflate the currency and cause massive price hikes. Oh, it doesn't matter. He knows what he's doing. You don't understand. You're not smart enough. He's got a 3,000 IQ.
Let's not address the fact of the executive order that's going to pump $500 billion into AI infrastructure.
They're putting another $500 billion to replenish the defense stocks they gave to Israel and Ukraine. Just thought I'd mention that.
And don't forget all the money we got to give to Iran now. And the money that Lockheed Martin and Raytheon just contracted to build more weapon systems because we burnt through all of them defending democracy in Iran.
We watched Iran kick our butts. I'm sorry they did.
For a sandbox country
that we shouldn't even been
going against the United States in a head-to-head conflict, it was pretty disappointing.
She goes on to say, Taylor Greene remains well-versed in this world and its history, and as she lambasted Trump, she raised one of the most challenging pieces of cognitive dissonance for his devoted QAnon followers. The Trump's campaign attempts ahead of the 2020 election to ban QAnon clothes or signs from rallies, which they did after clusters of QAnon believers caught on camera began spooking non-crazy voters. The Trump team did not want to be associated with QAnon. Greene's video set off a new round of complaints from QAnon believers, and that Trump agreed personalities on the right. Okay, I'm not going to read any more of this. You guys can read it, but listen to me. I told you guys when this stuff started 10, 15 years ago, it was a psyop. I warned you. It's the same thing they did with the Tsar Nicholas was killed in Russia in the about in the teens of 19, whatever, 100 years ago, in which they killed the entire royal family. They were telling everybody he was still alive and he was running the country from another world. And he wanted people to listen, or not from another world, from another country. All of it was a lie. They did it on purpose so people would calm down and quit doing the revolt and just let the new government take over. They have used this multiple times. Solomon said it this way: there's nothing new under the sun. I covered that at Angel Wars, why he said that. And so they did it before with their pyramids and how they controlled the hearts and the thoughts and the minds of everyone on the planet, and every thought was evil all the time. When you finally understand that these interdimensional entities, or you can call them reptilians, or you can call them aliens, or you can call them fallen angels, pick a name, I don't care, depending on what your level of thought is and where you are from a faith standpoint. These things that run the planet have been around for a long, long, long time, and they've controlled things in the ancient Canaanite religions for thousands of years, and they're still doing it. They're the ones that do all these psyops, keep this 21-ring circus going all the time. They're the ones that have been cut off from God's energy field and have to do human sacrifices. Karen said something very good to me yesterday also. She said, do you realize when you have 100,000 people dead in Venezuela, that's just projecting now from these earthquakes, how much and how many children could be trafficked with no evidence?
It's horrible. I didn't think about that. Gosh, that's dark, but it's very true.
And think about it, and you say, well, what do they do with these kids? Well, they're sold to sex slaves. When they get used up, they sacrifice them. And you think, well, they can't be that messed
Friday, man, dude.
But no, and so this is what we had. Oh, by the way,
you're not wrong. I just
but no, this is why we joke like we do on the show, because you can only read so much of this stuff, and you start going, all right, this is messed up, man.
Remember, the stuff that we cover on the show, man, it's like a minute percentage of the information that I get handed to me.
Me too.
From a lot of contacts I know from all over the world, intel conversations, private conversations, in-person conversations. Some of the stuff you just got to joke about at some point, because I can't. It's so.
By the way, the Supreme Court has now ended deportation protection for Haitians and Syrians.
I did see that.
Now,
that's
now
about, yeah.
Okay. Now I've got a friend of mine. He's dating a Haitian.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong. It's just
she
don't need to be here and live here for free and get government assistance for doing nothing.
Well, she won.
I don't care what country you're from.
She supposedly won Miss Haiti. I don't know what she did or what she didn't do. I'm not sure what any of that stuff's true. But the reality is that I sent him this link yesterday. I said, buddy, she's been protected here and haven't been sent back, so you better make sure that you whatever. And so I told him, I said, it was very, but it's crazy to me that of course the Haitians, that voodoo stuff, man, that's some messed up stuff, man. They said they got zombies down there. But
all I know is law enforcement that I know down in South Florida, especially in Hialeah, in Florida City, that is the number one group of individuals that cause the most amount of violence, they said, is basically the Haitians. They said they're worse than anybody else down there. Now, again, that's law enforcement telling me that. They said because there's no moral constraints to anything because of the way they were brought up. And as far as pure barbarism is the only thing they understand in some cases. That's law enforcement.
Do you remember years ago there was a house that got vacated about a block or 2 blocks away from here, and I asked the police what's going on. They said, well, they were doing like sacrifices. They were Haitians. They were doing.
They said they had voodoo. Mm-hmm. They said it was so negative when we walked in. We had to come out and let the crime investigators go. We don't want to be in there anymore.
The energy so bad.
They said that it was so dark when you walked in. Now I got an article to cover here too because this was kind of chaps.
Now, by the way, I'm not saying all Haitians are bad because
I'm not saying that either.
I knew one guy from Haiti who was unbelievably hard worker, and he was super nice. I know there's more than one. It was Peanut Man.
Oh yes, he was funny.
Yeah, I don't know his real name, but I do, but I can't remember. But we always
that's always
He used to sell peanuts.
He always said that he did a lot of work for everybody.
And he was a hard worker, boy.
He didn't stop. Alligator Alley in Florida is now permanently closed.
Well, I'm glad he got to spend billions of dollars.
That was my next thing. And the problem that I had with this whole thing is I didn't mind about the deportation center on there because you have to have those. Quite frankly, Florida was flooded as far as with people that were here illegally. Always has, always will be. It's got to have control over that. But the problem with it was over $1 billion to erect that place. And they said the operational cost was $1 million a day.
That's such a lie. That's such a lie.
You had stuff like the porta potty contract was $92 million no bid contract that went to a sanitation community that did contracts for Florida. No bid.
That's
if you don't
organized
understand
crime.
from government contracts, that means they handed out the contract to a singular company that didn't have to bid against anybody else. Hey, here's a $92 million sanitation contract. Would you like it? My preferential friend. Probably, just speculating. Companies probably owned by tiny hats. Just putting that out there. And so that's the problem I have. When you got .gov contracts, which I've been involved in, I've watched, I've got friends that do contracts, and all of a sudden you get these no bids. Like when Amazon got the no bid contract to house the CIA servers. That one never clicked right for me back in 2012, 2013, I think it was. Oh, by the way, a $600 million no-bid contract. You're going to house the CIA servers. Quite frankly, with some of the most sensitive information in the entire world. No, nobody else even has a chance. It's Amazon only. So, Florida, Alligator Alcatraz, it's done. My next question is, they brought in millions of square footage of dirt, backfilled it on the backside of this airstrip that was down there. They spent all this infrastructure.
Now, what are they going to do with that airstrip?
What are they going to do with this infrastructure now? Because it's a small operational city.
Screams CIA.
That's exactly what I was just about to say. That screams agency right there. It's almost like they knew it was never going to last. They knew it was needed to be erected down there for something in the Everglades. Remember, it's like 50 miles west of Miami. It's right off of Alligator Alley. I've been on Alligator Alley. If you guys have been down there, you're talking about geographically isolated in Florida. You don't know what swamp is until you go down to Alligator Alley.
And it's 50 miles away from the most densely community in the country, in Miami.
50 miles.
And so that means they get all the drugs in there as much as they want now, and they can do it and land. And it's a 10,000. It's either 10,000 or 15,000 foot runway. It can land anything.
It's a monster of a facility,
and nobody. If it's Fed, if it's CIA,
it's gonna be
nobody's going to monitor it.
It's a state, and that's what they said here. I was trying to find out about it. It's a state, deportation, federal deportation depot. So it's going to be considered federal agency airstrip now, which means contractors, CIA, military can now use this depot without any oversight. Hey, we're landing here. We need to drop off here.
I'm going to say something as a pilot. It's very expensive to maintain runways because you got weeds growing through them. Heck, you get trees growing through them. I've seen them with trees in the middle and haven't been used in decades. So they've got to maintain it. They got to maintain the structure. They got to maintain it doesn't crack up. It doesn't break up when the plane lands. So now they've got a brand new thing going on down there, and now they get to use it and use it and use it and use it. And guess what? We, the taxpayer, got to pay for it. Well, not really.
The federal
we borrowed the money on a credit
immigration
card.
Detention facility costs Florida taxpayers roughly $1 billion to construct and operate at rates at $1 million a day. Florida applied for $608 million FEMA grant as well. So FEMA paid for some of it. They said state spending documents traced numerous no-bid contracts to private contractors. Example, the sanitation and portable toilet contract alone was $92 million, while another development vendor that helped out as far as with the backfill and the installation of all the facilities had a $219 million contract.
Unbelievable.
They said due to intense operational costs and ongoing political and funding disputes, essentially now the federal judge now has ruled it illegal to deport everybody there. So we're just going to abandon this facility now.
Do you remember that? I forgot that one movie. A lot of bad language, don't recommend it, but a couple of guys decided to be weapons contractors. Remember that?
War dogs.
Yeah, and they ended up basically putting the contracts in, and they were like so much lower than everybody else that got the bids. And finally, and finally, they started realizing that they were bidding way too low.
Yeah,
but they were producing the product, or basically stealing the product, or taking old Russian ammo.
They got. But this is a real story. Actually, one of my good friends who does contract work knew one of the main guys in there. He's worked with him before in light work, but he said there was very, very accurate on certain aspects. But that is exactly how they got busted. They took that old Chinese ammo and they repackaged it, and they ended up getting busted doing it.
Okay, last quick story.
Oh, I forgot. Clock cooked.
Yeah, we cooked the clock. By the way, now they're having this guy down in Miami. Doesn't surprise me, has discovered how to change your eye color.
What?
I don't recommend this at all, okay? And what he does, he cuts open the cornea and injects dye into your eye. Now, what could possibly go wrong?
That sounds unbelievably dangerous.
It is. What it says, because the cornea never completely heals, the patient is not pleased with the results. Some of the color can be removed. Within the wider community of ophthalmology, the procedure is highly controversial because it can cause all types of problems, such as correct corneal scarring, infections, and serious vision problems, including the risk of blindness. Ladies, listen to me. Men, if you're going to do this, men should be doing this anyhow. It's a little bit gay, sorry. But if you're going to want to change your eye color, just get different color contacts. Just that's okay, whatever you want to do. But just it's whatever you want to do. But don't be going and having cut into your cornea and injecting dye into them.
Just somebody commented on YouTube on here. Mena, Arkansas 2.0.
There you go.
Mark.
There you go.
Yeah.
Full one.
This is too sketchy. The amount of infrastructure. We got a full operational facility with this giant runway that can handle a C-130. That now is going to be a closed down federal detention center, which means you can bring anything, there at any time, and nobody can question it.
Nobody's going to inspect
it's going to be it's going to be federal. So you're going to have federal agents there guarding it. You're going to have federal anybody. It's going to be, hey, we have a truck coming in. We have 4 trucks coming in a C-130. Roger that. Come in, out, gone. And like you said, you're going to take Alligator Alcatraz right into distribution centers.
You got Interstate 95 right there.
Miami's got too hot with the Coast Guard and all that stuff down there. It's too busy.
Listen to me. I've flown over the Everglades many
a time. We've flown over Alligator,
like Okeechobee.
And Alligator Alley.
And that was the one thing I never could understand with Okeechobee. About 27 miles across, and I set my altimeter at 10,000 feet. I'm flying over Okeechobee, and because of the curvature of the earth that they tell us it's all real, all of a sudden I find out that I'm supposed to climb 500 feet in 27 miles, and I don't. I always thought that was odd. Now, I'm not going there.
Don't go there. It's Friday.
I know. Dave will call me up. You need to have me on as a guest. He's a great guy, by the way. He's a good friend. But I love the guy. I text him all the time. But the crazy part about it is that I finally said, one time I'm flying over there with Sharon. Sharon goes, "Do we have a raft on board?"
Yeah.
I said, no. She goes, "What are we doing, Ted? Why don't we just fly around the outside edge of Okeechobee?"
At least on the edges where the swamp, you can get out of it.
Yeah, and I said,
Okeechobee is huge, by the way.
It's 27 miles across. It only takes a few minutes to cross.
I applied for tags this year, gator tags.
Oh, good.
I didn't get them.
Oh, yeah. I don't know why. There's so many gators.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
But Sharon finally asked me, "Don't fly across Okeechobee anymore." And by the way, this deals with faith, foolishness, and presumption. She was right. You don't fly across Okeechobee without a raft. In other words, I decided not to fly across Okeechobee at all anymore. Just fly around it because it only takes an extra 5 minutes. And then I realized that, faith, foolishness, and presumption means if you don't believe in Jesus and you don't believe that he created the heavens and the earth, that's going to kind of be foolishness on your part because you're going to find out the hard way. Because the downside is you accept Christ and everything works out great for you. The bad side is you don't, and you got a problem, especially when you leave this dimension. Thought I'd mention that to you. Have a great weekend.
Yes, guys.
Love you guys.
Grab the multiple if you want on sale.
I'm speaking to church on Sunday. I'm reading scripture if you want to watch. Remember, God loves you. I love you. Austin loves you. Thank you for your support.
Appreciate you
And
guys.
quite frankly, it's a lot easier to do the show and joke around some because,
Well, you
like
gotta
I said,
joke, man. If you don't joke, I mean, like I said, you gotta put some humor and stuff on there. So you guys have a great weekend. Hope you enjoyed this week. Wild week down here at Health Masters in Florida. Multiple caps, product of the week. You guys wanted them. They're on sale. If you need anything, call us up or email us. We're here to help you guys out. Enjoy your weekend. Stay strong and healthy. We'll talk to you Monday as always.
remember, we love you guys, and thanks again for your support.
Thank you guys for all the YouTube comments. That was funny today.